and welcome. Happy Saturday. Well, I've just been down to Cleveleys, unsuccessfully, scouring the charity shops to see if I could find anything to wear. I didn't. I didn't see one long skirt or one long dress in any sizes, not just my size. I mean, there was barely anything in my size anyway. Rails and rails and racks if you were 12, 14, 16, but when you got to be 20, 22, even 24, three things. So I've decided, you know, either all the big girls get there before me, or they just don't have any. But as for long flowing things, they don't have them at all. Anyway, I did have something funny happen while I was travelling along. I'll show you what I was wearing. Right, I had my jacket on. I'll stand up and show you what I was wearing while I was on my scooter. I'll turn you around so that you can see me. You know me, it wouldn't be me unless I was wearing something a little flamboyant, yes. So I was wearing my indigo moon jacket, well, one of them anyway. One of my indigo moon jackets, which I think are rather fabulous. It's got the embroidery on the back. Yeah. Underneath, I was wearing it's a summer dress, as you can see. I love it because it's got the asymmetrical hem, and it's got lovely big pockets at the sides, big pockets. It goes up and down, symmetrical, and it's got like a flounce on it. A flounce. How do I wear a summer dress in the winter? Well, in the autumn, whatever you want to call it. I've got another. It's a thicker, it's just a little spaghetti strap dress. But I use it as an underskirt. And of course I put a long sleeve t-shirt underneath. Remove my jacket, probably get dog hair all over it now, because that's where the dogs sit, on the buffet. So I tightened up the straps because they fasten with bows, and put a white long sleeve t-shirt underneath. The beads I've had for quite some time, but I do love them. You know me and my lovely chunky beads, yes. So that's what I'm wearing today. So I'm quite warm because I've got all the layers on. So I'm not quite ready to get out my winter dresses yet. I'm not quite there yet. It's a lovely sunny day today. So what did I buy in a charity shop? One thing. A scarf. It's quite a nice wide scarf. It's almost like a stole. Yeah, has it got a label on it? It does. Oh, 100% cashmere from Jerusalem. So it's nicer than I thought, although it does have a little hole. Oh no, it's just a thin bit, it's not a hole. Yeah, so that's what I did buy. So I spent a massive amount of £1.99. They did have another scarf, but it was very narrow, very flimsy, and they wanted £2.99 for it, so I thought, no. I was just watching my friend B Roberts, who's just made a video on her haul, and she's got some nice things, but she's a lot smaller than me, you see, so she's got more choice. But she was saying the same thing, you know, the prices in the charity shops have really rocketed up. It's no wonder people go to Primark and places like that. Not that I can fit in anything in Primark, except, you know, the carrier bag, the socks, and a scarf maybe. I could fit in Primark. But I never could fit in Primark clothes when I was a lot smaller. It's just the way they cut them very skimpy. Well, in my opinion, they do. Obviously, if you're a sweet young thing who's like that, you probably think they're fine. I've just started breaking for the armholes. I haven't forgotten, by the way, about making, you know, a video showing how I design things. This isn't one of my designs, by the way. This is a pattern. If you look back a couple of videos, you'll see which pattern I use because I left it in there. Yeah. So I'm crocheting this with a comb that I got from Woolly Knits, and it seems to be like a never-ending comb. Because I've done the two fronts and like half of the back, and I don't seem to have moved anything off this comb. I'll be using this comb for quite a while, and I've got another 4 colours in the shed. Again, if you look back a few videos, you will see the combs that I bought from Woolly Knits. Yeah. I paid £6 each for these, plus the postage, of course. And I thought that was a bargain because they're normally £12. But they do have, well, they did have, I haven't checked this week, they did have some colours for £4.80 a comb. I mean, it is acrylic, it's not super duper, you know, fingering fine. I mean, it is fine, it's a 4-ply fingering, which a lot of people in America gasp at anything so fine, they don't use it. It's a fingering, or it's maybe finer. It's supposed to be our 4-ply, but I would say it's more of a 3 actually. But, so apart from that, really, I've not got a lot to say to you. The family will be coming back tomorrow, yeah. Somebody did comment on this, but, oh, so dreary, isn't it? So dreary. The colour, it's not me at all. I mean, I can wear a deep colour, but I have to liven it up. You can't liven that up, can you? What can you do? Stick red buttons on it, or... You're just being silly now, Janet. Anyway, I went down to Cleveleys. I did a little bit of shopping. I got by a ready dinner for myself for today because the family, as I say, are not back till tomorrow. And my stomach's still not quite itself yet. So I'm not pushing my luck with anything, you know, greasy or anything like bacon or something like that. Yeah. So I went into Marks and Spencer's, of course, my usual food haunt. And then I went into B&M Bargains, and the wool, or the yarn that they have in B&M has now shrunk to one tiny little sort of bookcase sized bit, you know. Same old stuff they always have, nothing ever new. You know, you couldn't go in there and kind of buy anything worth having, you know. Very small amount, very small amount. I suppose it's what they sell, and if they don't sell it. I went past my local wool shop, the Naked Sheep. Luckily I didn't want anything because apparently she's closed until the end of October because she's having structural work done. So it's not that she's gone on holiday, well she may have done, but she's having structural work done to the actual shop, so that's why it's closed. I did notice fans outside, but I couldn't make my mind up if they were outside her shop or outside the next door, so that was all it was, yeah. I've got a plane going overhead, or maybe it's a helicopter. It's probably one of those tiny planes, I think I've mentioned before, I think they come from Blackpool Airport, and fly around, you know. You know, these men with a lot of money, well I presume it's men, could be a lady pilot, I don't know, with a lot of money. Boys with their toys, as they say, yeah. I haven't been doing an awful lot really, you know, I thought I would do so much more, you know, when I'm on my own, but I haven't been, you know, feeling 100%, you know, and it's hard. I got up this morning thinking, I am going to do something. I am going to get up and go to Cleveleys and have a look round. But I must admit, you know, the charity shops were pretty dreary. People who have my kind of clothing must not live around here or must hang on to their clothes. I have looked on Vinted, but once again, you know, I don't ever see... There's a lot of things my size on Vinted, but they are kind of like not my style, yeah. I know I'm unusual. I'm unusual. I'm boho. I'm whatever. Not everybody dresses the way that I do, and I appreciate that. That's probably why nothing finishes up in the charity shop and nothing finishes up on Vinted. Still, it finishes up on eBay. This dress, actually, I swapped with a friend in Scotland for some crochet. Bartered it. She wears my kind of clothes, yeah. I'm not quite sure where she buys them from because there's no label in this dress. So I can't go, and have a look. I'm looking for a nice boho shop besides Moonbeams and Mayhem, which I seem to spend all my money with them. I hope they appreciate I keep giving them a plug. I don't think they do because they probably don't even watch me. But still. I'm thinking about what to crochet next. Maybe what to knit next, I don't know. I don't knit as much because, as you know, it hurts my shoulders because I tend to hunch a bit. I get a bit intense when I'm knitting. I'm more relaxed when I'm crocheting. My shoulders are down. So I don't get the neck sort of spasms of my shoulder as I do when I knit. With me when knitting, it's always a race. I can't knit slow. That's why I can't knit free. I tell you before, I can't knit on those circular worms. I can't get tension. I cannot get tension at all when I knit free. I've got to knit. It's what you're used to, isn't it? I was taught to knit with it under my arm. And sort of, 70 years later, I'm still knitted with it under my arm. Yeah. What do they say? You can't teach an old dog a new trick, don't they? I did try continental knitting one time. I was actually on a beach in Tenerife, and there was a German lady sat in front of me, knitting continental style. And she must have sensed my eyes sort of boring into her, watching her knitting. So she beckoned me over, and we weren't talking the same lingo. She didn't speak any English and I didn't speak any German. But she managed to show me how she was doing it, I have tried. I can do the knit stitch, the flicking it through bit. I can't do the purl. Oh, the purl is alien to me somehow or another. I don't know whether any of you knit continental style, but I cannot do the purl. I'd have to knit continental and then purl the ordinary way back. I know I flick, but I've been flicking me wool on my knitting and everything for 70 years, so like you say. I mean, I was with my ex-husband at the time and he was mortified. He's going, you can't go up to people on the beach and ask them what they're knitting. It intrigued me actually that she was actually knitting in Tenerife under the baking hot sun. And she was clicking away there. And she wasn't worrying at all. I had a friend in school who was part Danish. Her mother was Danish. And she used to knit like that, the continental style. But what used to fascinate me was when it came to knitting the ribbon band, for the buttons. She had little short needles. She would knit that way, and then she would knit back the other way. She didn't turn it. She sort of knitted right to left, and then she knitted left to right. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's so fast. She could make a band, like, these bands like that in like 5 minutes, because she was like, dig-a-dig, dig-a-dig, dig-a-dig. And I was just like, entranced watching her knit, yeah. I mean, sadly, I think her mum passed away very young, if I remember rightly. She was called Elsa, my friend at school, Elsa. Not the lion, Elsa. But it's funny how you sort of get intrigued by the way people crochet, the way people knit. I mean, some people crochet and they almost knit it. They put their hook in and then they put the wool over and they pull it through. And then they put the hook in and put the wool over and pull it through. I mean, to me that's like knitting but with a crochet hook. Whereas I have it over my finger and I just go along, you know. But I can't use one of those tension rings. I don't know whether any of you have ever used them. You know, those little curly gold or silver things you put on the end of your finger. I can't use that. But I'm the same with sewing. My mum could not even sew a button on without using a thimble. Yeah. You know, if I was on my way to school and a button fell off my blouse that I was wearing, you know, and I was too late to go up and find another blouse and change it, yeah, another shirt. And I was saying, Mum, my button, and she said, oh, I'll have to find my thimble, you'll have to find my thimble. And I'm going, just sew the button on. She couldn't sew the button on. I couldn't sew it on myself because it was like here and I couldn't see what I was sewing. But she could not sew the button on without finding the thimble. I tried it once, and whichever finger I put my thimble on, I was pushing it through my needle with another finger. I'd have to have a thimble on every finger, you know, so that I'd push it through one or the other, yeah. But that's me. I'm not. And I mean, I get told off, or I got told off when I was at school, because when I hem the opposite way to everybody else. I think I go left to right when I'm hemming instead of right to left. And my sewing teacher said to me, are you left-handed? And I went, no. She said, you're going the opposite way with your hemming. And I goes, am I? And she said, yeah. I mean, I'm using my right hand with the needle in it, but I'm not going right to left, I'm going left to right. I don't know. I don't know why I do it. Do we analyse why we do these things? Do we? I didn't know I was doing it the wrong way. Nobody ever said, ooh, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong direction with that hem. Talking about hems, I've got about 4 pairs of trousers. I keep looking at them thinking, oh, just cut the ends off them. They're always about that much too long. You must think, because you're a big girl, because you're a bit on the plump side. I will not use the word obese, but because you're a bit on the plump side, they imagine you've got daddy long legs, yeah? So, you know, I'm sort of short and squat. I've got a shortish leg length, but I can't buy the shortest leg length because they ankle graze, yeah? I'm sort of in between the two sizes. But the ones I've got recently seem to be about 30 inches leg length. They used to be 28 and I had to turn them up an inch, yeah? Because I'm about 27. But the last ones I've bought have all been about 30 inches. I've got a lovely pair of like fake patchwork ones. And they're bell bottoms and they're lovely, but I'm going to have to cut most of the bell bottom off because they're about that much too long. And I keep looking at them thinking, Janet, you need to do that. You need to cut the ends off and sew them up. I mean, I didn't wear them like all winter. Although one pair I'm a bit iffy at. When I come to look at them, I think they're a bit beige, aren't they? They're very beige. What would you wear them with? Could you liven them up with a colour? You know? How do you liven beige up? Yeah, I think I've got 4 pairs of them. I've got my fake patchwork ones. I've got some like olive green ones, which aren't too bad. You could. I don't mind wearing cream. I just don't like wearing beige. Or I could wear, you know, green patterned because they're plain. And I've got a pair that I think are more brown, but then I've got this dreaded beige pair. I may actually just put them in the charity shop. I may not even bother to shorten them. I may just leave them as they are. Yeah, that's the way I feel about beige. Why on earth did I buy a pair of beige trousers? I must have been having an aberration that day. Oh dear, I have got a beige cardigan, having said that, but I do wear it over a jazzy dress. And it's so many people when I wear that beige cardigan go, oh, isn't it lovely? And it's one of the the drabbest things I own apart from this cardigan here. And when people say, oh, isn't it a lovely cardigan? I'm like, no, it's beige. Cream, I like cream. And I like white. Don't ask me why I don't like beige. And I wear grey sometimes, but not an awful lot, because that doesn't do a lot for me. I think the older you go and the more you lose your colour, you do need something more rosy to cheer you up, you know. Like a nice pink or something like that. I don't wear a lot of pink, but I like the bright pink, you know, the sort of Barbie and fuchsia pink. People say I suit the pale pink, but I'm not a lover of it actually. I don't know why I've never. Even when I was a little girl I would never wear pink. I don't know why. I wasn't a girly girl, to be quite truthful. I was a bit of a tomboy. You know, little girls didn't wear shorts or trousers when I was tiny. We wore dresses. And I had to get my aunt to actually make me a pair of shorts. I mean, she made them in like sort of a deep pink and white gingham material with a bib on it and little buttons here. But they were shorts. She actually did make me a pair of shorts after I complained about not having shorts. And my mother did let me wear those, yeah, because they were girly shorts, yeah. But, I mean, I don't want boys' shorts. I just wanted to wear shorts when I was little. Because I used to be always hanging off a tree somewhere, you know, I wasn't a girly girl. Having said that, I did play with dolls and I had a dolly's pram. And I used to make clothes for my dolls from a very small age. I think this is where my designing came from, because there was very, very few dolly's clothes patterns back when I was little. So I used to make my own up. I used to knit for my baby dolls, I used to knit for my, well, they were teenage dolls. It was way before Cindy and Barbie. Oh, hello, next door's burning the toast again. The alarm going off. Way before Cindy's or Barbies were ever invented, there used to be teenage dolls. I think they probably were a bit bigger than Barbie, a bit more substantial. Yeah, there it goes again, the burning the toast. And I used to make clothes for them. I used to sew. I think I told you before, my aunt, who was a tailoress, used to let me work her treadle machine from about 5 years onwards. Everybody today would be screaming, oh, health and safety, danger, danger. But my attitude with children is you teach them the right way to use equipment from a very early age. I mean, my son used to use sharp knives when he was quite tiny. I was stood there next to him, I was with him, you know, while he was doing it, yeah? Didn't let him wield them on his own. But I taught him how to not put his fingers in the way and how to cut and how to make his own sandwich, yeah? Obviously under supervision, you know, until he was old enough to do it by himself. But today's children are very nannied, aren't they? Oh, they can't do that. Oh, they can't touch that. Oh, they can't have scissors. They've got to have little plastic scissors. They might cut themselves. And if you're there and you're watching what they're doing and you're supervising, which a lot of mums today don't seem to want to do, enough said about that. But, I mean, my son used to use sharp scissors when I was watching him, of course. Sharp knives when I was watching him. He used to cook. He used to put things on it was a gas stove, gas cooker. He used to be stirring things, making his own eggs and stuff like that. But of course, I was watching him. So, but I think you should let them learn how to do things. I mean, I was in charge of like sharp needles when I was learning to embroider. You only stab your finger once and you don't do it again. I actually stitched my finger to the sewing machine once, that was fun. Right through the nail. You don't do that again. Yes, I used to sew for my dolls. I used to be begging bits of material off my aunt because she was a tailoress, as I mentioned. And she'd have little scraps and snippets and bits left over from alterations she'd done. She did more alterations than she actually made things, but she did make dresses for me. She was marvellous at putting things down, you know. Give her a dress, a lady's dress from a jumble sale that might have had a rip in it or a hole in it or whatever, and she'd cut it down and make something else with it. She'd make me a little dress, or she'd make aprons, or she'd make something, you know, she'd make things with them. And that's the way, I mean, today people are talking about this sort of thing as if it's the latest thing. You know, well, people never did that. We did it out of poverty. We unravelled jumpers, we took clothing apart, we put new feet in socks, you know, refoot a sock, you know, if it got a hole. My mum she knitted my dad's socks because he could only wear wool, proper wool, because he had something wrong with his feet from being in the army and all that jazz. And he wore the legs quite long, his sort of calf. So in order to not knit all that leggy bit again, she would just refoot it. Sometimes in a slightly different colour, but my dad used to say it doesn't matter, it's inside my shoes. You know, my mum was a whiz, stretching a penny. She was a whiz. I think I've said before, she could stretch a bit of meat like nobody's business. We ate a lot of potatoes, but we always had tasty meals, you know. She would make potato, I would say potato and meat pie. I wouldn't say meat and potato because there was more potato than there was meat. Cheese and onion pie, things like that. She used to make a wonderful rag pudding. Now, unless you're from Lancashire, you'll have no idea what a rag pudding is. It's suet wrapped around a filling of usually meat and onions and potato. And you then wrap it in a cloth. My mum used to keep special white handkerchiefs that were only used for that purpose. They were never used as hankies. They were her white pudding bags that she only ever used to wrap the puddings in. And she used to wrap the puddings up and put pins in them, safety pins. And then they were steamed. So they were suet. If you don't know what suet is, it's like an animal fat. If you're a vegetarian, you're probably cringing by now, but that's what I was brought up with. My mum and stretching a penny. And I hope I can do a bit of that with my thrifting, charity shopping, eBaying, or whatever you want to call it. I'm making my own clothes. Bye for now. See you later tonight if you're watching my live. Bye now.